Tim. Welcome, Tim.
Good evening, Neil, Woody, and welcome to everyone watching. It's going to be a fantastic event to wind up this series of 2 hours around Spa.
Yeah, here we are in Belgium. 20 turns, 7 kilometre circuit. We have got the thrills of Radion and El Rouge and down the Big Camel Straight and into Le Combe. And obviously the Blanchimont and Pouon are some great corners, turns 12 and 17. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of action and maybe a lot of passings into La Source into the first corner as well throughout this 2-hour race. Let's just get back into this championship standings as we weren't here on the screens last week. We apologise that as myself, Neil and Tim needed a little bit of a break as Tim was digging some holes and I was just, I think I was a little bit gassed. So a good break by all, and I'm sure that we're all fired up, ready for this great final round of Gravel Trap Legends.
Absolutely, and the points table could not be closer coming into this final 2 hour endurance event. It's been an absolutely outstanding season, and again, another fantastic car. If anyone has not tried these cars on track, they put it in your bucket list.
Yeah, most definitely. And look who's leading at the moment. John Slow in the Honda on 184 points over the bloody 9 in his Sigma. Couple of Sigmas with Magic Mass as well. Esky Man 1 point away from Magic Mass. Magic's had a couple of rough starts, rough parts of this championship, but looking for a good run tonight. And Scar leading the prototype cars, so the P in front of Scar and Brett there in these slower cars in the prototype, but they're not too slow at all because we've seen Scar absolutely up in mixing it with these leaders throughout the series in his Judd powered prototype car. And let's not forget about what we're doing here at Gravel Trap Legends as well, is the famous Targa. And that's all the best lap times from the drivers added together from each of the rounds. So we've had the 5 rounds so far, and you can see Magic Mass is obviously leading the way here with the 8 minutes and 4 seconds, 0.5. So he's got a good 3-second margin on Travis. I don't think anyone's going to beat Magic for the Targa, Tim, because 3 seconds they're going to have to get on Magic this time around Spa, and that's a pretty tough ask, I'd say, with Magic in form.
And ready, lining up for Hyperpole, Magic Mass is currently the fastest car in pre-qualifying with a 2:01.4.
Yeah, then followed by Gun 180, then Rusty, not in the Nickelback car anymore, he's in the, what's it called, the Easy Beats car. And then we got Cuckoo running for Chevelle. We listened to a bit of Chevelle early in the series, and John Slow with the Metallica ride the Lightning car. And then the bloody 9 in 6th position. Now that's just for the Hyperpole. They will change because they're out on track at the moment. But we'll probably go through the grid order a little bit later, Tim. We'll may as well go straight into the action and pick up the bloody 9 as he's making his way around the circuit. We may just want to put up the map if we could, Tim. Would be a handy thing as we can just see where the guys are coming up now, up into the bus stop chicane to start his first flying lap. So as we may say, this is a Hyperpole. Only the top 6 drivers that we saw earlier on that list will be out on track on a private session as well, 10 minutes.
So the bloody 9 qualified for the Hyperpole with a 2:02.721.
Yeah, it's been an intense season of racing as well, Tim. And we've had the viewers obviously tuning in. And tonight we've got a little bit of something special. We're asking all the viewers to vote for your favourite car livery, as the Gravel Trap Legends have got a little a little competition going on for the best themed or the best sort of livery of cars. So we will look over the cars over the 2 hours. We've got a 2-hour race coming up, so we've got plenty of time to go through some cars and obviously try and suss out, and make sure you type down on the keyboards your car. If you've seen a car that you like during the stream, make sure that you type away there and let us know of the car that you enjoy seeing out on track. But the guys have obviously tuned these cars up really well from the round one, Tim. The drivers are starting to really get comfortable in these P1 cars.
And again, put it on your bucket list, but be note, these things are not fast straight out of the garage. They're a very peculiar car. They've got a very different feel to them. There's massive amount of understeer on mid corner. You've really got to be patient with the car before you can get back on the power. As we can see, the Bloody Nine's had trouble with the cold tyres on his first lap. He's pushed the wide on a few. Coming around now to come through for his second crack.
Yeah, definitely. And you'll see that this is the Formula 1 layout circuit. You've got the DRS zones, but obviously with these prototypes in the game, that they're able to use the DRS at any time, Tim. So they'll be opening them up whenever they wish. Obviously to reduce those drags from those big wings. As no one's set a time yet, Tim. So only early, the first 5 minutes is gone. So it will be interesting to see some time start filtering up onto the leaderboard.
We've jumped now with John Slow. He's currently leading the points table over the Bloody Nine in the Metallica car.
Yeah, he's doing an excellent job in those prototypes. And as we know, that Magic Mass has been really in front of this championship. He's had a great battle with Gun 180 throughout the series, but the race we decided not to make, Tim, was one of the exciting races that they had last week, and Magic Mass having a monumental disconnect failure as well, so cruelly robbed of the championship lead, and he'll obviously be trying to do his most he can to try and see if he can reclaim that tonight. But it's going to be tough because there's only 1 point margin between the positions as they run down from first position, so he's going to have to try and dominate this race, and hopefully his competitors fall on the wayside.
And looking at here, we've got Magic Mass and the Rusty Caliper, the only two cars to actually put down a valid lap so far. Magic Mass come back out from the pits for another crack with a fresh set of tyres, but Gun, the Bloody Nine and John Slow and Cuckoo still yet to put down a time.
Yeah, maybe some track limits as well, starting to catch a few out, but as you just said here, they are sometimes starting to filter on through. With just 3 minutes remaining on the clock of this private session. So there is the 6 cars should be out on track. I think we've only got the 5 maybe on track that I can see, so I think we're missing one driver.
John Slow is the 6th car. He's currently running around at the moment to put down a time. So once his time comes down, he'll make the top 6 cars for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, currently watching John Slow. I just was looking at the leaderboard tree on the left-hand side, and I'm not actually concentrating who we're watching, but we're watching the Happy Average Racer. Make sure you have a look at him on the YouTube channel. You'll be watching him at work in the cockpit, streaming live as we speak as well. So you could be on board this Honda and seeing how he's performing. So he hasn't been able to set that time.
I think just struggling with the track limits. And the question I've got, because I have not actually run these cars around here, Neil, with the amount of downforce these cars and the little bit of understeer that they present mid-corner, do you think they can go full noise through on Rouge?
Oh, well, I think they should be going pretty close to it, to be honest, as long as they don't bottom out, because as we know, there's a big flat tray underneath these cars, so I want to be making sure that they're not bottoming out in any part of that circuit. But yeah, that's an interesting question, Tim. I'm sure that we'll get on board during the race and find out fairly quickly if they're still keeping it flat.
And very close there to scratching his lap through No Name. There, that's done it again. So this could be a very tight competition. He's got to get back around to the start-finish line. He's got 50 seconds to make it before he starts his final lap. But he may have done his dash here and have to contend with starting behind the Bloody Nine in sixth position.
Yeah, Tim, I think he should be able to get back around to get this lap in. It's going to be close, as you said, because he's going to slow right down for the bus stop. But I think he should be right just to nudge it in. But it's the fuel levels the question. As he filled it up to be able to do that one extra lap, he must have been. Most drivers would have been thinking this would be the last lap. So he should get down through here for one more lap. Apologies as well, a little bit late there. I've forgot to move on through as the session as well. So the guys, we had them hanging there for a while, waiting to do this hot lap. So John Slow.
There you go, John Slow did get a time down.
So Puon's been a little bit kind to him. We thought that he took a little bit too much liberty on the out part of the circuit there, Tim, but wasn't going to hold on. But just listening to him here, I really think he is full noise through there, Tim.
It didn't sound like he lifted. I think he's definitely got this car dialed in then.
Yeah, so he's the last car that'll probably be on circuit on doing this lap because he's just got through, but he's pushed hard and through the Lacombe there, so his lap is over. And we may pick up on some other Magic Mass who's currently on pole position and seeing if he can do any better because he's under threat. Maybe from Rusty. We've seen some pace from Rusty and he's actually on circuit at the moment and trying to finish his lap, so we may be able to quickly catch Rusty as Magic has been able to put another fast lap down as a 2.260, and Cuckoo's out in the dirt, so that's the end of him, and I think this could be it.
That is, all cars have completed their final lap.
So there we go. So I might just hit this continue screen so the guys aren't hanging around for too long because I don't want to. And so hopefully that continues over for them. Oh, there's words can't explain here. Look at this, Tim.
Did anyone predict the weather to be like this? I think the frogs are out, the ducks are out, and I think we've even seen a couple of dolphins out there on track at this stage.
Oh, I didn't know that the wet weather was coming, Tim. This is going to be very, very daunting around Spa. It's not a great circuit when the rain comes in through the valley here at Spa. The mountains all around just seems to collect and hold this, the clouds around it. And this rain may stay around for the whole race, Tim. I'm not too sure.
It is very much a Melbourne-style event at Spa. You can get all four seasons in the space of an hour, and this is a 2-hour race, so don't be surprised if we do get some dry weather. But the question is, how many drivers have a wet weather setup or have planned to have wet weather tyres?
Yeah, we're not too sure, so we'll just go through that qualifying. I think we've got who we've got. We've got Magic Muss here was on the provisional pole, but he's on pole now with Gunner beside him. In third position, who did we have there? Was it Rusty or Cuckoo? Tim?
I believe it was Rusty over Cuckoo and then John Slow over the Bloody Nine.
Okay, so there's your top six there. The first three rows of this grid will go down for the next three. And in seventh position, Travis Moan and Christopher Razor in eighth position. Mark 860 for Jimmy Barnes in ninth position, and the prodigy of Brett S in 10th. I'm sure he'll be having the fire starter running through his earphones tonight as Trimington in 11th position. And we heard in the opening there of the Blue Sky Mine of Midnight Oil of left in 12th position. And then we run down the order here from position 13th and 14th will be Squish Mittens in the Nikki Webster All Pink Strawberry Kisses car. And then we got No Frills there in 14th. 15th was Pixel Boy for Primal Scream. And then the Witch Hazel, or whatever it was called, of Smithy in 16th. 9 Inch Nails. We might have to get a little bit of 9 Inch Nails going on the stream tonight of Truey 84. And right about now of Stu and Fat Boy Slim in 18th. Now the rest of the grid, Tim, we're not too sure of how that was going, because they usually use the time trials to get these qualifying order in place. So they're on their formation lap to do their manual organising grid for a rolling start. So the rest of the pack behind, I believe, are all going to just be saying, no, you're in front of me, no, you can go in front of me.
Yes, there was a string of drivers who actually said they were not going to put down a lap time because they were happy to start from the back. And we have 4 or 5 drivers that are now all arguing over who is going to be the final car on track at the start of this race.
Yeah, it looks very tough conditions. This is... I'm not even sure what time of the day it is, Tim. It's almost going into the late evening with the darkness of these clouds. So I'm not too sure if it's an afternoon race or if it was a more of a mornings type of race. But we'll shortly find out as hopefully this rain does clear up for the guys.
And to everyone watching this evening, thank you for joining the stream. We hope you enjoy the broadcast for the final round 6 event of the Hypercar Masters of Endurance series for Gravel Trap Legends.
Oh, look at Magic Mus getting it wide on the warm-up lap, trying to get some heat into these tyres early on, and he was lucky he didn't loop in front of Gunner then. We may just want to bring up the map again, as it would have clicked off during the changeover of the sessions, Tim, and that way there we can see if there's any sort of incident during the race. You may see that blue dot up on your top right hand corner of the map as a near turn 1 at La Source there. That is the safety car. So they actually got the in-game safety car, Tim, as they used it last week. And as I said, of all rounds that we didn't show up, they tried and tested a few things, and the safety car worked for them. But they're going to still use the Gravel Trap Legends safety car as well, where if 2 or more cars get involved in an incident, it's up to the drivers to call out the safety car, and they will then, the leaders will then acknowledge that and slow down to a safe pace of around about 100 or so kilometres, as the drivers will then catch up, and drivers that need to go in the pits can go on through, get into the pits. And being a long circuit around here is a 6 or 7 kilometre circuit, Tim, they should be able to probably get away with only 1 or maybe, if not 2, safety car laps. But here we go for the final round, a 2-hour race, as it does look like the rain's starting to ease off just a little bit, Tim, so we could be lucky.
Look at that spray. That is absolutely insane.
Yeah, pretty intense at the start into La Source, but let's have a look to see if they all get through. It's looking good in the background there. They're all threading the needle as I guess if any of the viewers know a little bit more about Spa, let us know, guys. Is that the afternoon sun or the morning sun coming on through in that direction? And as they all come up over the top of Radion. There's left in the Midnight Oil, and we're looking now at Kiz, Bales. So some of these drivers that don't normally up a bit further up the field are going to be down the back. They've got a little bit of work to do, as we got to move down the inside of the Midnight Oil car. Is having a little look.
And Everyone doing a great job here to keep it clean in the wet weather. It looks like all the drivers have actually chosen a wet tyre. Doesn't look like we've got anyone who's made the mistake of starting on a slick.
No, I think you'd be game to do that. There's a lot of standing water around this circuit, but there definitely looking the way, Tim, that this rain is actually, it's just been a massive big rainstorm that's come over the top. We've been nice and cozy in the comms box and weren't even taking any notice of the weather, and the big black cloud just came out of nowhere over the hills and just dumped all this rain. But it looks like now the sun's starting to come on through as the clouds are moving away. And it's Bales McKenzie in 22nd position, I think he is. Outright 13th in class.
And he's got those arrows pointing forward. The guys are all doing a fantastic job. Let's jump back up the front now. John Slow has picked up one position. He sits in fourth, but will sit now with sixth position, the Bloody Nine. And it is the Bloody Nine and the Metallica car for John Slow who are fighting it out at the top of the points table for this event.
Yeah, they sure are. It's going to be an unbelievable race. And Scar 666, whereabouts he's, as we said, leading the prototypes, and he's in that 14th position. So we'll keep an eye on him coming on through, because he's got a 10-point margin on left, and left is the car that's in that midnight oil car.
Lefty's sitting back in 18th position, so he's 4 positions behind Scar at this stage. But it looks like we've got a little bit of sunshine coming through here, Neil.
Yeah, it definitely does, and it's so good to see that rain, that bomb of a cloud that just came over and just drenched the circuit before the start of this race. And we've got Rishi Siva just saying to us, sunrise or sunset. So not much help for us, Rishi, but how are you going, mate? Glad to see you tuning in. And I'm sure, I believe it's probably more of a sunrise and a sunset, I think.
Looking at the angle of where the sun is coming from, I think you're right there. That looks very much like the sunrise coming up over Spa. A fantastic sight for anyone doing the 24-hour. It is so pleasing to get some light splash back across the circuit.
Yeah, definitely, after a long session in the night. And that's a one game that's going to be interesting if it does come out. Oh, they're running wide around Puon, but they've got that. We're looking at that. I was just getting into mention about the World Endurance Championship ultimate game that there's talk of maybe coming out before Christmas. It could be a little bit of a Christmas tree gift that a lot of dads will be after this Christmas. So hopefully that game can promise to be a good little title. And 24 hours around some of these famous circuits in the official livery cars of the WEC series would be actually brilliant, Tim.
Yes, I'm a little bit concerned. There has been a lot of hype and speculation about the release of the game, but we haven't yet seen any gameplay. We haven't seen anything than some car steals. So a lot of speculation about a lot of hype, and wondering about whether that will actually transform into any sort of game.
Yeah, but obviously using the Race Factor 2 engine and the guys from their motorsport games as well. You know, there's a little bit of ify buts about them, but hey, let's down the path. But we're back here now in Spa on lap 4. Looking at Gun 180, he's got a 2.5 second gap to try and reel in for Magic Mass, who's just absolutely benefited from the less spray being out in front. But look at them, Tim. They're starting to now chase that wet part of the circuit, as there's starting to be a bit of a dry line appearing.
And I think we are only 1 to 2 laps away before these guys will have to be taking seriously about a pit stop for tyres.
Yeah, definitely. They won't want to run too long, because I think it's a times 2 time progression, I think, from memory.
So let's jump aboard our points leader here, Neil. This is John Slow. He's got a 4-point margin, I think, over the Bloody Nine, who sits 2 positions back into 6th position. We can see Cuckoo off the back of the Bloody Nine at the moment. Cuckoo off the back of John Slow, and the Bloody Nine is the car in the background there. So about 1.5 seconds separating these 3 cars.
Yeah, sure is. And we just got a little bit of John Slow's music coming on through. That he's playing in his cockpit of his car at the moment, guys. And don't forget, we have got the livery competition going on for the final round of this championship. So if there's something there that you see that you like, please let us know. And definitely let us know if you'd like to see some of these drivers get their just rewards for some of these beautiful paint jobs that they've done.
Again, a big shout out to Reza for the graphics for AMS2. Absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, it sure is. And Cuckoo, the man behind, just chasing down. He's getting a little bit of feedback coming out of John Slow's car. Hope you're enjoying. It's a bit down on low volume to see if we can get that through the stream without being a little bit of a slap on the wrist by the copyright people. So enjoy a little bit of Enter Sandman.
Looks like John and Cuckoo pulling away from the Bloody Nine now.
Yeah, it sure does.
And Scar has had a bit of an issue at the back there. He is now less than 1 second from left, who is the 2 top running drivers in the prototype series.
Yeah, Nerdy Girl, how do you vote? Well, all you have to do is get on that keyboard that you just typed in there and let us know if there's a driver. You just have to put their driver's name down. And the admin guys of Gravel Trap Legends will be watching back this stream, and when they pick up your chat, they'll put that down as another vote. And also, the guys, the members from Gravel Trap Legends are all open to put their votes in over on their Discord channel. So, yeah, make sure. We're looking at Travis Moan's car at the moment with the Red Hot Chili Peppers give it away now car. That's a pretty good one, Tim.
Absolutely, mate. Big fan of the Chili's, but we'll help the guys out here. We'll flick our way down through and give some airplay to all of the drivers so they can get a look out at the liveries that they've had for this series. As we'll move off of Travis Moan now and drop back to the Bloody Nine.
Yeah, and the Bloody Nine obviously trying to chase down, as we already have alluded to, see if he can get John Slow, who's got that healthy margin of I think it's 7 points margin. So things have to go terribly wrong for John Slow, but anything can happen in a long race. We do see that, Tim, don't we? Especially that last half an hour when the drivers start getting a little bit doughy. They've been used to driving for 90 minutes, but they're going to have to push in for another 30 minutes tonight.
And witching hour, the last 10 minutes of a race is always the struggle mentally. But the Bloody Nine in the rocky roads, and we'll jump back to Brett S.
Yeah, and obviously we're going to have to think about all these pit stops. We've already had some guys in the pits that lap around, so I reckon it's going to get fairly busy, and I reckon all these drivers will be funneling in into pit lane this time around. So it's going to get fairly hectic here in pit lane very shortly. As we got one slow car moving, Tim, right down the back there. He's only just moving. I think that we've got a damaged car because he's hardly moving.
Bence, jump down, have a look. That is Bence.
Oh, I think that's going to be the end of Bence. I would imagine, as the Bloody Valentine car. Oh, here he goes. He's found a gear. And thanks, Nerdy Girl, for letting us know. Car number 1, Stew Dog, in the Fat Boy Slim, has got a vote on in the live stream. So how good is that? And
Bence is back on the go again, and we'll continue to work our way through the cars. He's obviously had an issue somewhere. He's straight to the pits. Gunner's car just behind.
They're all coming in, and as they filter in through the pit lane, I think it's time that, of course, we've got one vote from Stew Dog, for Stew Dog. Let's get a little bit of Fat Boy Slim going, guys. So we may get a bit of copyright hit there, Tim, sorry, but we might be muted on the replay, but at least you can hear it live here, so the live viewers enjoy a little bit of music through this 2-hour broadcast tonight. As we're looking at Rusty. Now, they haven't pitted, Tim, or did they?
Looking at this order, I believe they were the first ones to pit.
Righto, so they're off and running. So Rishi, if you find someone there that you like a nice livery, let us know, and we'll find out. So Rishi's saying no, they haven't pitted, Tim. So
only Gunner. Gunner was the first leader to pit. Thank you very much. So let's have a look how Magic Mass is handling on the wet tyres in the dry weather. I'm wondering what the telemetry screen looks like in the HUD there. Those tyres would be red.
Oh, they would be off the charts, Tim. They'll be like balloons for Magic, so he'll be looking forward to get to the end of this lap and obviously finding the pit lane to get some fresh boots on. But he's still going fast, Tim. Look at his delta time there, 0.02 of his 200ths of a second up.
And still, he's more than half a second faster than Cuckoo. 0.3 of a second faster than John Slow. But Rusty Caliper has the fastest lap of the race at the moment with a 2:18.3.
But here he comes in now, so in comes our man.
Magic Mass in the Chemical Brothers livery.
Oh, he's just finding his pit lane. He almost came to a stop at that
Rusty
time.
Caliper's straight in.
Yeah, in the Honda, so he's following in the Easy Beats car. Friday on my mind for Magic Mass and Rusty. And here we go, Travis Moan. So he's one that I think may have pitted. And you would have seen, and Cuckoo definitely taking the lead of the race. I think Cuckoo was one that pitted early, Tim, as well. So these guys, I believe, are on the slick tyres.
And they have made the undercut work exceptionally well.
Yeah, definitely been up early on those slick tyres has obviously helped them.
So we'll try and keep going through these liveries for everyone at home watching. So we're up to no frills.
And no frills running. And Masterton, I think we had a song from them last time. Not too sure. We may have to try and find out a little bit of music for Masterton.
No frills being hunted down by Crystal Razor here. Christopher easily gets the job done. And we'll jump aboard Christopher and check out delivery for the Chevelle.
Yeah, the green Tism, the lime green car. Obviously been around quite a bit with the on the broadcast around different times.
And one of the great competitive races for Global Trap Legends.
Not too sure a little bit about Tism, but
Was it Greg the stop sign?
that might have been the stop sign, yeah.
Punk rock band from the late 90s. Jump aboard Brett S in the Prodigy car.
Oh, have I seen some shower activity again, Tim, on our screens?
Seeing some rain falling.
So some of these drivers jumped the this pit lane a little bit early. Could they have run out a little bit longer on these wets? Has anyone done that? We've just seen Travis Moan and Cuckoo back in pit lane, so they've come out from the lead. Cuckoo came out of the lead straight into pit lane as soon as he's seen those drops starting to fall. So this could be a run of these races where we're going to have these changeable weathers, and we're going to see drivers coming in and out throughout the race.
And true to form, Spa is putting out the Victorian weather broadcast this evening. You're going to get it 4 seasons in one day.
Yeah, and just seeing if there's any spray. No spray really coming off the tyres of the cars as of yet, but the wipers are on a couple of these cars. George on Slow's wiper on, but Brett S only 0.1 of a second off his fastest lap, and he would be on slick tyres at the moment. But the way that this rain seems to start, and it seems to get a little bit heavier now, so this rain could be the rain that the drivers have been dreading, that may just stick around for a while.
Let's keep our way down through the livery chart here, jumping onto Mark 860.
Oh, he's had some rotten luck, Tim, throughout this series. He's had so many disconnects. He's come and visited us up in the booth a couple of times through the series as well when he had nothing else better to do. He just wanted to get away from his pit crew. Upset with his car not performing, and the hardware not working for him. But, oh, look at this, the slick tyres. He's just ran, had no turning at all as he went through turn 12 there.
We can see the spray now coming off the back of these cars.
And they've got no grip. Look at them all behind there, all off, Tim. Even we had the strawberry kisses. I think there was a car just spinning there. Look at them all go, Tim. They just got no traction whatsoever. Could this be a safety car? Oh, this is going to be close. Oh, I tell you what, that was a red knuckle moment right there. Kills.
That will be. Kiz will be going for a pit stop to change his pants after that, I reckon.
Yeah, I think oh no, it was Cuckoo that we've seen that was in the pits, I think, for the wet tyres the previous lap. But here they all filter in now into pit lane. So let's keep an eye on Cuckoo, because he was the man that came in early, I think, to get back onto these wet weather tyres now. They're going to keep the crews busy this evening, that's for sure.
Take a quick jump up. We see the guys all filtering in now.
What an amazing sight this is. We haven't seen this all series, Tim. The whole field's in pit lane, mate. It's almost like the start of qualifying again.
Well, let's take a look out on track. We got the Gun 180 is currently leading, but we know...
Oh, look, he's still on slicks, Tim.
He's still on slicks. Cuckoo, we believe, did the early pit stop and the second early pit stop. Cuckoo could be our lead car on wet weather tyres.
Yeah, I think he's... Look at this, how slow that bottom red dot is near the very centre of the map. Down the very bottom is going. Normally going a little bit faster than that, so that is Gunner. And he's having trouble with his traction. And these guys are absolutely eating that lead of Gunners on this lap around. But look at Cuckoo running wide into Lacombe. So these are very tricky conditions.
Rusty Caliper now jumped up. He's just pulled 3 seconds on Cuckoo through there.
Yeah, good
And
job by Rusty.
that car looks like it actually has some traction. So Rusty clearly running on wet weather tyres now. And that's a 5-second margin over Cuckoo.
Yeah, so maybe Cuckoo didn't get onto the wets or something happened when he pitted. I thought he definitely was in the pits, wasn't he? I'm sure he was in the pits as the rain
I was
started.
positive if he went through, but I'm just looking at the margins here.
And Cuckoo's
And
dropping
Cuckoo
down
is
the order.
falling.
Yes. So
So
maybe he came in and he hadn't changed his strategy from the wet tyres that he had onto the dries, and maybe they re-put on some slicks again. That has happened before, so...
because the car, well, he had actually completed a full lap. So if that was the case, he should have picked that up on his out lap. But the car had good pace up through on Rouge, and it is now having massive dramas. So
Rusty...
Gunner sitting in the pits. Rusty Caliper coming around now. He will take the lead of this race if he gets...
I think he will, because Gunner's still stationary in his bay at the moment, and he's still got a motor down through the slow speed limit. I think it's only 60 kilometres an hour. And just leaving.
Gunner just leaving now. Yep, so...
Gonna be close. So Gunner has been able to hold on to that, Tim. So, well, good call there, Tim. So he's been able to just hold on to this lead, but Rusty's going to have that those tyres a little bit in that operation window too, so he should hopefully maybe be able to close that gap a little bit.
Stay with Rusty here as we look at how he's going to be able to perform, because coming down through, we know with Lacombe and into Melody and down to Brazil, it is a very, very serious section of the track where you need to have faith in the tyres. They're actually going to grip onto that track to be able to force the car into there to make pace.
Yeah, so a little bit of easy beats coming on through the speakers now from Rusty Caliper, as he's feeling fairly good there in second position.
Yeah, Gunner's managed to maintain that 2-second margin. So he's done a fantastic job coming out of the pits on fresh wet weather tyres.
Yeah, Gunner he's just one of those drivers. He can just nail it when he needs to, doesn't he? He's just so much in the zone each time he gets behind the wheel.
Everyone's settled down a little bit now, so we might try and just quickly finish off these liveries. I'm just seeing where we're up to. Scar 666.
Yeah, he's in the Mad Stallions from the movie Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. So he's rocking around in all types of rock and roll there. You remember that movie, Tim? That was a fairly fun movie.
Absolutely. They got the number 2 where they had the end of the movie was the Kiss song, God Gave Rock and Roll to You.
Yeah, that's it. A great song, that one.
And wonder if anyone actually got tickets for the final Kiss concerts in Australia.
Yeah, well, let us know in the viewers. We've got a few viewers watching the stream. You're a Kiss fan, and if you are a Kiss fan, did you get those tickets? If not, you're a bit bummed out that you didn't get them. But yeah, so, or if you're not even a Kiss fan, you don't really care. Well, yeah, it's who would you like to go and see if you're not a Kiss fan? That's a question, and maybe we got one of the liveries out here that we can have a look at. If we knock up a band name that one of these drivers are driving around in colours of that band, as we got just behind Scar, Mark 860, doing a great job, holding 12th position, 7th in class, and looking to find himself this drying line once again. This rain seems to be on and off throughout this race, Tim, so
this will play into the strategy for some of these drivers. They have all made the comment that they can't do this on a one stop. They had to get fuel at least twice. So a couple of these mandatory entire field pit stops will enable them to close down that fuel window for the last 30 minutes of this race. There's a lot to play out yet, Neil. We're still 1 hour and a half, 130 minutes to go.
Yeah, we've still got plenty of time. What have we got? 90 minutes, mate, remaining.
90 minutes, sorry.
We've got
1 hour and 30 minutes.
We've got the race distances that they've been doing for the first 5 rounds in front of them. And here is Squish Mittens. Now, this is one of the artists I just can't even remember a song. So from Nikki Webster, let's see if we can
Kisses.
find out if we can even find if any of these search engines even pick up a song for of hers at all.
But while we talk about that, Neil, we're looking at the amount of dry line appearing on this track.
Yeah, so will any drivers, you think, going to try and brave it in these drying conditions if the forecast is for more rain? So hopefully this doesn't kill your earlobes, guys, but we've got a bit of Nicky Webster going on the background as we can hear it coming out of the car here of Squish Mittens. I can't believe he's driving at this pace with this in the background in his earbuds, Tim.
Oh, look, horses for courses, mate. No Frills is our first one to take a pit stop. We've heard from the soundtrack for some of the AFL players and some of the rugby players around Australia over the last few years. There are some very interesting tastes in music.
Yeah, they've different tastes for everyone all around. But here I thought he was going to come into the pits, but he's going to go around for another circuit, around this 7-kilometre circuit. So it's not like a short circuit, Tim, where you can think, oh, might squeeze another lap out. You can really come undone, as we saw when the rain did fall for the second time in this race. The drivers trying to get grip that was stuck out on slick tyres. They had a hard time getting back in the pit lane. So now they've got to manage these tyres not overheating. I think that's enough of Nicky Webster, Tim.
Down to No Frills. We've been through his livery. So on to Max Power.
Yeah.
Max doing a great drive here in 15th position overall.
He is a machine. He just loves his sim racing and loves to give it a good go all the time. So
and loves a bit of AC/DC.
He sure does, and I think we all like a little bit of it. So with this wet weather, I think this song deserves to be on the stream, guys. So enjoy a little bit of this while we enjoy a little bit of Max Power. If you like Max Power's car, put down Max in your comments, guys, and he'll get some points for this livery. Looks like the Razor's Edge album cover, all on the racetrack. Just to boot as well, I believe he's got the band signatures right on top of the driver's window of his door.
Christopher Razor made his entrance into the pit. Lane 9, the guys are making the decision to change tyres again, potentially.
Yeah, some nice work on these liveries through the whole Gravel Trap Legends members. They all helped out to make these liveries for the drivers that may not have been able to do the liveries themselves. So good job by everyone. And you can just see how much work is needed around this circuit with these cars, Tim.
We'll jump on board now with Lefty. Lefty is in competition for the prototype points table. He is challenging Scar 666 at the moment. It looks like Scar's actually in the pits here, so it could be for a change of tyres. But there was around about 30 seconds between them, I think, on track.
Yeah, definitely. So They're going to be up and down, swapping all around this whole race. With these changeable conditions, it's going to be, I think, at the end, who's going to actually brave it and be able to last these rain showers and stay on the same set of tyres during a period where the tyres aren't at their their best performance.
Now, that pit stop for Scar has actually enabled Lefty to jump in front. Scar is back on the track, so there's 5 seconds or 4 seconds between 14th and 15th position, and these are the two leading point scorers for the Prototype Series.
Yeah, so it's going to go right down here. As we said, that Christopher Razor's got that 10-point lead on left, and then we've obviously got Smithy behind left, only 4 points. So
Smithy having a very challenging night tonight, all the way down in 19th position.
Yeah, I think he was one that had a spin in that wet conditions as well. So things aren't going to plan. But look, it's a long race. Peasants, how are you, mate? How do we vote? Well, if there's a livery that we've gone through, and you can and the driver. You can see the drive on the left-hand screen, or up the top actually where we're watching in the blue. Currently watching left and the Midnight Oil. So if you like the Midnight Oil livery, all you have to do is write the driver's name down. So that's all you got to do in the comments, and they'll be reviewed after the race and added to the votes that all the GTL members have already cast their votes. So we've still got plenty of time. We're going through the field at the moment with Tim, and we'll be going through it again. So there's plenty of time to see on the liveries.
Yep, we've done Marco 60. We've done Buzz McKenzie pointing forward in the Franz car.
Yeah, I think we need a bit of Franz Ferdinand or music as well very shortly, because it's one of my that's actually my favourite livery, and I've been a little bit slack, Tim, and haven't even voted at the moment. So
voting is still open.
So I'll definitely be making myself get a vote done for Bales.
And a very dry line showing up on the track now. And we jump back to Smithy. Smithy is taking a dive into the pits. Can't get a decent look of the livery while Smithy's in there, so we'll jump on with Hugh and Rangy. So Nerdy Girl's got a vote out for Stu.
Yeah, and Peasant's just done another one for Stu. So we had a bit of Fat Boy Slim earlier. A bit of right about now, and he'll be probably looking forward to maybe have to come in for another pit stop if this rain comes back again, Tim. So it's all about getting the right time to get into the pits, as Gunner, Rusty and Magic are all in there at the moment. And he's obviously struggling here, Stu, at the moment. He's might be on the wrong type of tyres, as we can obviously see the battle now with Stu. Trying to see if he can keep left at bay.
Now, just a little update from Miscalculated. There was expected to be showers for the start of this race, but they were expecting the last half of this race to be dry.
Right, okay, so that's gonna obviously what they want to see, and it does look fairly blue skies out there in the background, but there's a lot of trees around here, so You only get little glimpses of the sky, and here on the outside goes left as Stu gets a little bit sideways. Well caught as well, Tim. That could have ended in a loop very easy. A lot of drivers do get into a bit of strife coming out of that corner.
Let's jump back on the left now. We haven't had a decent look at his livery yet.
Yeah, we opened up the broadcast with a little bit of blue sky mining, so maybe that's a little bit of luck that left needs. Needs a little bit more of those blue skies, because he definitely seems to have some pace when this track is on the drier side. Currently in 19th position.
We're taking a quick look down through the list here for who's put in some faster times. We've got Scar in a 2:14, Cuckoo with a 2:14, Rangy with a 2:14. Jump aboard Rangy now to check out his livery. Christopher Racer with a 2:13, No Frills with a 2:13, the Bloody 9 on a 2:11. The times are starting to fall again as the track dries out.
Yeah, Rangy in the nickelback car. Oh, look who's out wide. Is that Trimington? I think it might have been Trimington running around in the gravel trap. And that's Bales McKenzie just behind Trimington as well in the background. So they're all doing a good job in these challenging conditions. Oh, look at that. That's picked up some spray down the inside of that circuit there, Tim. And it looked like Rangy had a little bit of opposite lock going through Puon. Not a place where you want a car to be unsettled.
But credit to all the drivers, we've not seen a safety car in almost 40 minutes of racing. There was a very nervous moment when all the guys on slicks came across that second heavy shower.
Yeah, they did a tremendous job. We had a couple of clenching moments, didn't we, Tim? One there with Kiz, I think, almost took the back of one of the cars that was a bit out of controls in front of him. Welcome,
Zoomy Zooms. Put a bit in for Stu. Stu's been throwing the Tim Tams out around the crowd tonight. It's got a fair few votes in there.
Yeah, what about a little bit of for Bales McKenzie?
Bales heading into the pits. He might have done his dash on those wet tyres. And Smithy, we know, had a very, very unfortunate series.
Oh, just catching the edge of the track, but well done.
Just putting it out there to get some moisture back on those tyres. They were overheating.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually. So I tell you what, out of all the people voting so far tonight, I think we've had them all for Stu, for the Fat Boy Slim. So he's obviously the crowd favourite at the moment. Currently in 20th position. Oh, right in front. I think, thank you very much, Smithy.
Let's just see how Truey's feeling after that. I think that would have been a very nervous moment for Truey.
I think the yellow car was the one that got caught up, which is obviously a faster car, I think it is. Now 9-inch nails. Move the livery here. This is not a bad livery either. And Truey 84. He's been doing not too bad throughout the series. Currently 17th outright. I think I can see why he's in 17th position, Tim. I've just got a little bit of 9-inch nails playing now that we can hear from the cockpit of his car. And I tell you what, I wouldn't know to turn left or right with this going on in the background. So thanks everyone for putting in some votes for the drivers. We really appreciate it, and I'm sure the drivers are going to like to see the little extra votes they get towards the livery competition. You might have to get a nice word to your favourite driver, because you might have to share the Tim Tams around later on in the year. Look at this, 0.7 seconds up. Truey's really got this car now dialing in as we've got the spotlight on him.
No commentators curse the night, Neil. We've got it all dialed in. We've given these guys all the encouragement we can. We want to see some fantastic driving out there to replicate the driving that we've seen in the previous 5 rounds.
And I honestly can see that the battle for third position in this race is going to just heat, like it's going to be like the Formula 1 last night, Tim. It's just going to be a battle that's going to just come alive in the last few, part of this race.
There's a couple of battles going on at the moment. We're looking now at the Bloody Nine and Magic Mass. And they're also sitting off the back of Esky Man. This is the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th on track.
Yeah, the Foo Fighters of the Bloody Nine. Isn't he just been so consistent through the series as well? But obviously took the advantage of Magic Mass's unfortunate chain of events last week, where he got disconnected and wasn't able to score the points that he probably should have deserved, and probably would have come into this round leading this championship very convincingly. But the Bloody Nine in 3rd position in the championship, just trying to keep
Neil,
in front of Esky Man.
I don't want to barge into, but I'm seeing some light rainfall again, mate.
I think you might have your rose-coloured glasses on, Tim. I can't see anything at the moment on my screen. Hang on a minute. I maybe called that a bit too early, Tim. I think I might have had... Oh, look who's come straight in the pits there. I think it was Christopher. I think he's gone straight in the pit lane with that rain, Tim. So, well called. Oh, it's Esky Man. So, Esky Man, I was just about to say, Esky Man is the man that's only 1 point away from Magic Mass. And he's at the moment in pit lane.
We've got another vote for Stu.
Boxed on, Bonk. Good on you, Boxed.
I think someone's going to have to do a test. I think Stu's been paying off our broadcast crew with Tim Tams.
Yeah.
I've not seen anyone have this many votes on a single night.
No, I think it could be a little bit rigged there with Stu. But look, the drivers were told to put the pitch out there, try and tune into this live stream of the final race and join in with the fun. Oh, here they all go on slick tyres, Tim. They're all off again out of Lecom. Well, not through the corner after Lecom. And look at the car behind of No Frills. He is obviously got some grip. Oh, and there's been a touch. There's been a touch from the Tism car. Oh, they're struggling, Tim. They're struggling for grip, these cars. This rain has just come over the hill. And look at it. It is atrocious through the top part of the circuit, Tim. They've all been caught out.
All sitting, well, this is the Esky made the quick drive on that last lap. The rest of the guys stayed out there. They could have made that decision to jump into the pits, but we said 7 kilometres around this circuit before you can get back into the pit entrance. It is a long way to go on slick tyres on a wet track.
Yeah, I think the weather system here. Oh, is he gonna? Oh, that's gonna be damage. That's a big hurtful clonk of the tyre barrier, and that's.
And this is the difference on slick tyre on wet weather tyres.
Now, how's Gunner's going? So Gunner and Magic Masters still seems to be lapping not too bad. Obviously going to be coming into the pits. They've just... Oh, he's missed the turn. He can't turn the car in. Oh, bouncing over the curbs. Is this going to be a penalty?
He's going to make the pits.
Oh,
he's made the pit entrance.
Oh, that's going to be close. The stewards won't be happy with that, but they may look at it as a safety precaution. They wouldn't have wanted to see another car going around on slicks in these conditions, so they may just turn a blind eye on that.
So here we was, Eski running in 4th position. Actually 5th position, sorry. Running in 5th position on track. They were 10 seconds off the lead of this race, and he was the first one to take the dive into the pits for wet weather tyres.
Yeah, so... Oh,
coming through the chicane now, up onto the start-finish line.
Yeah, Travis Moan just struggling to get in the pit lane as well, as some of the cars starting to move out of their pit bay, but it looks like Eski Man has been able to maximise here, because he had about an 11-second margin to reel in between him and Gunner when it was dry, and he was able to pit in that lap, and that's what he's been able to do now. I think he's got roughly a 5 or 6 second gap.
That's Gunner looking up the track.
Now, when you look at that, Tim, you sort of look at those clouds and you think, you know, like the rain, it's just coming over from behind them, Tim. Like, it's not too bad looking in front, but it's all behind them, the rain.
That was a 15-second advantage to Eski for that pit stop.
Yeah, that definitely was, yeah, because that's what it was saying. So he's got a 5-second gap now, but he was, as we said, about 11 seconds behind Gunner when he did go in. So nice call by the Eski Man's crew to get him in.
Looking at those clouds, this looked like it could very well clear up in the next few laps again. Once putting out more strategy concerns for how this race is going to roll out. I think they will all be praying that miscalculated is right and the second half of this race will be dry.
Yeah, I think as we all know, with the experience of the weather, with only 4 weather slots, Tim, available, I think this is on repeat, Tim, and I reckon we're going to get this sort of change in every 20 minutes, roughly, with this weather. So unfortunately, that's just what these drivers are going to have to put up with, unless I'm proven wrong. I think it's set at real weather, but the game is obviously limited to the number of weather slots that they can have in a session, and then that's what they do. I think it just repeats itself, Tim, so we just keep repeating ourselves with this weather system.
Someone's put the song on to loop.
That's right, yeah. I'm
going to have to catch the D, catch the D's, eh? Tell them to take off the loop.
So, but still, like you said earlier, Tim, it's credit to all the drivers. We haven't seen the Gravel Trap Legends, the GTL safety car or the in-game safety car needed in this race, and we've been running now for 54 minutes, almost at the halfway mark, the hour mark into this race, and they've been doing a tremendous job in these tricky conditions.
Not only that, we still have 16 cars on the lead lap after an hour of running.
Isn't this a sensational view of the car of Gunners?
But does that look like it's drying up again, Neil?
Yeah, well, that's the thing that they're having trouble with. I think it's just the how quick it's changing from dry to from the wet to dry all the time. And right on cue, it's basically welcome to the jungle here at Gravel Trap Legends for the final round. There's Gun 180, known as Gunner amongst the sim races here at Gravel Trap Legends. Currently 7th in the championship, chasing down Eski Man for the lead of this race. I think you're right, Tim, that rain has stopped again. It won't be too long we're going to see this dry line appearing again.
Well, the engineers will be having kittens trying to work out a strategy for this race.
Oh, I'll tell you what, they'll have broken backs by the end of this race, bringing in these tyres from the Dunlop tyre manufacturer, or they Michelin tyres. I'm not too sure what tyres they got running around here, but I'll tell you what, they'll be backwards and forwards to the Michelin tyre truck, getting the sets of tyres fitted to these rims.
Oh, here we are. The Blade 9 was running with Esky when Esky took that pit stop, and he is now 40 seconds in arrears.
Yeah, okay.
There's still some great battles going on all around this track.
Yeah, this
And
is
the
a
different. Sorry, Neil, I was just going to point out the different colours for the drivers on the track map. So the cars with the red and the white dots are the cars on the same lap as the Blade 9. The cars with the blue dot are on a lap behind.
Yeah, that's right. And I still think that the bloody 9 and all the way to John Slow in 4th position, these are the cars that are obviously going to probably feature later in the race for the final sort of podium, or at least into the top 5. It's just going to swap between these drivers. If you can get that lap, if it all falls your way, we just saw with Esky Man, he was able to pit as soon as that rain just started to fall. And we sort of mentioned, oh, he's in the pit lane. He was the only one in there, and he, as he said, he gained 15 seconds on Gunner, who was leading the race at the time. But Gunner now absolutely killing it. Look at this move down the inside. Rusty on John Slow into Lacombe. He's made that stick, but he's been able to pull it up. Oh, John Slow's tried to, but it's tough to be trying to get him back on the inside because he's on the outside for these next lot of corners, and someone's off. I think that was just that was the Chevelle car.
Yes, they're a lap down.
Yeah, so there's a few cars falling on the wayside. I think that might have. I think we've got 14 cars, maybe by the looks of that, on the lead lap still. Left looks like he's the first car to be a lap down in 15th position.
Well, he may still be on the lead lap, looking at the wet weather times at the moment.
Yeah, true that. Exactly. Would be in squish mittens. He's into
We'll
the
just quickly
pits.
jump aboard Esky Man. Yeah, so the car up on the road in front of Esky Man, that blue. Oh no, he must have just passed him.
So we're going to come risk it for the biscuit, as they say, come in the pits here to try and change the strategy to what Esky know. He's staying out on the track.
Rusty Caliber's coming through with John Slow behind.
So we have seen Squish Mittens. He's in the pits at the moment. I think that he will be getting some slick tyres on.
As we can see, there's very little spray coming up from these cars for a majority of the circuit now.
Yeah, it's right at this stage though, it's just not dry enough, but we can see in half a lap it could be good enough for slick tyres. So as they all start now weaving and trying to keep their tyres cool in any parts of the track where there's some laying water still. We did see one of the cars.
No frills into the pits.
Yeah, that's the car that I thought I saw coming in. So they're all coming in for their slick tyres. And look at Gunner starting eating up this reeling in Esky Man's leads.
And Magic Mass also on the hunt. He's gained back a couple. He was 11 seconds off the back.
Yeah, 2:18 that last lap, Tim, on the drying surface with the slick or with the wet tyres. That's not a bad time at all. Don't forget, guys, if you're tuning in, and welcome to Gravel Trap Legends final round of the Endurance Masters Championship. We've got an hour left of the race, but we've also got a livery competition going on. So if there's a livery there that you like, you look up at the centre top part of your screen, it'll tell you the driver that we're looking at the moment, which is Max Power in the Razor's Edge AC/DC car. Now, all these liveries are all done by Gravel Trap Legends for this series. But if there's a driver there or a livery that you think that, hey, that takes my eye, just type down the driver's name while you're watching, and you'll get a vote in for that driver. So could help them get a couple of chocky biscuits at the end of this series, which is obviously tonight, and all the votes will be counted during the week.
And Max Power starting to struggle a little bit on the wet tyres as the track starts to dry out.
We've still got the 22 runners, Tim, in these tricky conditions. It's going good. Truey there at the rear of the field. Max Power just hovering there in the 20th spot.
Just going to point out here, Esky is the first one of the leaders to make it into the pits to change tyres.
Okay, so he went in and is Gunner staying out. Looks like he needs a nice little battle. Spiffy's trying to see if he can get this move done on Max Power. Oh, but no, he can't. Spiffy's out on the grass.
That's a bit of a crisscross there.
Yeah, he's held on.
He's managed to save it, but looks like Truey might jump above Smithy at the moment.
As Bales out into pit lane, where he's stopped to get into the slick tyres.
But the car in 6th position is the one that we'll need to pay attention to. Esky made the first move onto wet weather tyres, and he's been the first of the leaders to make it back onto slicks.
Yeah, so Magic Mass actually really likes these conditions because he's been a second faster than any of the other drivers. And I've been disconnected, so I may have to just see if I can get back into this so we can get this broadcast back going, guys. So there'll be a slight pause. I apologise for that. And we'll be back very shortly. Okay, we're back again, guys. So sorry about that little interruption there. But Tim, you still connected there, mate?
Yeah, mate. Yep, still staying with us. We're just watching the guys come through the pits now.
Yeah.
And Esky is back in the pits. It looks like the full field has come back through.
Yeah, nice. It's just at the moment, I don't think I'm getting any sound through at the moment with the cars, so that's unfortunate.
We've got Gunner being the first one out of pit lane. We're just waiting for the timing lines to catch up.
I might have to put in a little bit of background music slowly throughout here because we've lost all game audio, unfortunately. I can only hear the audio in pit lane. Seeing if I can try and pick up any sound here with moving over to any cameras.
Well, while we get this sorted out, let's jump aboard with Gunner, who's currently leading. As he's confronting a few of the black markers now.
It kind of wants to give me audio, Tim, but not quite there. So something's not quite right there.
Coming down through turns 13 and 14 into campus. Very gentle on the throttle through here.
We've got
Turns
it now.
15, pull for air. Coming down past the church. Full noise into Blackmont. Just hangs on to it through there. And just hear the guys there easing on with the throttle. The cars do understeer mid-corner. You do have to be very, very patient to make sure the car is actually pointing past the exit before you get back on the gas. The design of the circuit here has got all the cutouts for the current layout where they've removed all the trees. New grandstand to go in there shortly. Full noise up through on Rouge and out through Radion. And then a big run down through Kemmel Straight, taking the slipstream. Max power that might have been.
Magic Mass just dropping down the order as he stayed out a little bit too long, I think, on those wet weather tyres. Now, can you just confirm to me, Tim, is there 58 minutes remaining or a bit less than that?
53 minutes remaining.
Okay, so my time remaining is wrong, guys. If you're watching on the broadcast, obviously, I've got a 1 hour 58 still remaining. So we'll just forget about the one and we'll take away about 5 minutes. So we've got about 53 minutes remaining of this race. Lap 27.
Well, this is the first dry out lap for Gunner. We've put a pace down for where we think these cars are going to be. Travis Moan doing a 2:14, no frills on a 2:11. The Bloody 9, 2:09 on dry tyres. Let's see what Gun can produce.
It looked very wet though when we're on board, didn't it? But it looks more drier when we're out of the cockpit of the car.
There are still some wet patches. We'll see as we come down into the chicane. There's still a little bit of moisture there. Not too bad. There's a little bit of moisture up against pit wall. Waiting for the timing lights to light up. 2:08.6 for Gunner. That sets the benchmark for the guys on dry tyres now. But how long are we going to have dry track for, Neil? Are we going to expect the rain to come back? Yeah, very, very likely.
Yeah, the way that's been going so far in this race, it's been repeating itself, and the drivers, I'll tell you what, they'll be having soggy shoes at the end of this race.
But this calculator did predict that the weather was expected to clear and may stay dry until the end of the race.
Yeah, would it be good that they definitely would love to see this race really stay dry. It'll really open up the chase for the top 5 in this race. It's sort of blown out a little bit, but look at Christopher Razor all the way down to Magic Massa almost. There's only 10 seconds separating, just over 10 seconds separating those guys. Throw in Rusty Caliper as well in 4th position. There's nothing separating all those guys. It's almost like a freight train.
Let's jump aboard now. No frills looking at this pack. He's riding on the back of the Bloody 9. And then just in front of them, you've got Travis Moan on the back of Krista Razor. Well, this is almost a 5-car train. We'll see the 3 cars in front.
Yeah, Travis Moan. Sensational job throughout this series from him.
So I've got a battle going on for 14th and 15th at the moment. Squish Mittens and Cuckoo. Very tight battle. Looking back down through the order. There's a few spaces here and there. Truly not having a good night in the car.
But this is a song we need to have while we're looking at Travis Moan. Little bit of Give It Away now.
Let's crank it up and jump in board.
See why he's in the position he's in at the moment, rocking away. Probably one of the favourite songs being blasted in the cockpit at the moment. Don't forget to keep those votes going, guys. All we've seen is the votes for Stu. Seen plenty of the liveries throughout the night, thanks to Tim. He's been doing a tremendous job getting us all the liveries of the cars on the screen. And at the moment we're with the Red Hot Chili Peppers of Travis Moan.
They're hunting down Chisholm at the moment. Correct. Christopher Razor is in the green Chisholm car. As we can see, the sun's starting to fall down into the sky. The race is expected to finish around 9 p.m.
Yeah, so they've had
local time.
More than the ×2 time progression than I thought it was going to be. So they've obviously maybe got 10 times 10 or something like that maybe going. Maybe not that long actually, maybe times 5.
Well, it was early morning when the race started. It may have actually been sunrise, Neil. We quite didn't pick it with the amount of cloud cover and showers at the start of the race. But looking at where that sun is in the sky now, we're getting very close towards heading back into darkness, being that there's still 47 minutes to go in this race.
Yes, Christopher goes into pit lane. Now, I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing, Tim, but there's a lot of blue sky, and I can't see any cloud whatsoever, so maybe, just maybe, we may just see this race stay dry for the remaining 40-odd minutes that's remaining.
Looking at the windscreen view that I'm looking through here at the moment, there are some clouds building up in the horizon. And that could also
don't say
be... I'm looking... that is rain falling. And heavy rain.
Oh, wow. So we've got a totally different screen coming on for us, and if that's heavy rain, that's why these cars are all over the shop, because we're out of sync at the moment from what's going on. So maybe my best bet, Tim, maybe I may look at just exiting out,
reset,
and maybe come back in and see what will happen, so we can try and get a true understanding.
We are back to where we saw at lap 12, I think it was, where the guys are on slick tyres on a very, very, very wet track.
Okay, just bear with us, guys. Actually, I'm starting to get a little bit of rain now, so I'm just behind. Tell us, are we watching Rusty Caliper at the moment?
We are watching Rusty Caliper, yes.
Okay, so I'm just thinking I might be just behind you quite a bit, because the rain is just starting to fall now on my screen. So I might just exit out and come back and see if I can actually get back synced a little bit better. Okay, so I'm back in again.
Uh, we're sitting with Christopher Razor at the moment, where there's 44 minutes to go,
Yeah,
and it's
that's coming
heavy
up.
rain.
Yeah, and they're in pit lane at the moment. Or maybe not. I'm just in pit lane, my view at the moment. And 43 minutes remain. Just ticked over 43, 44 minutes.
Okay, there we go. We are live now with Gunner.
Yep,
Oh,
beautiful. So sorry about the technicalities that we're having, guys. It's just been a little bit there when I got disconnected. I was out of sync now, but I think we got it now. We'll wait for obviously the audio to come back. It may take a little while, but obviously you're looking at 43 minutes and 25 seconds remaining. And Gunner's in second position, chasing down Magic Mass at the moment. And we're waiting for the obviously for me to sync up so we can actually get our delta times probably to come up a little bit better. And Tim, you might be able to let us know how.
yep, Gunner at the moment leading this race over Esky Man. There's a 6.5 second margin. Rusty Caliper's a further 10 seconds back behind Esky Man, and he's got a 5 or nearly an 8-second margin over Christopher Razor. But then Christopher Razor, John Slow, and the Bloody Nine and No Frills are in a battle with the Magic Mass on the back. There is less than 10 seconds between those 4 drivers. Let's jump back onto Magic Mass and see how he's going to go. He's had some fantastic pace in this race. The pit stops have brought him undone. He is one of the fastest drivers. He's leading the Targa title by a considerable amount. A little bit of a misfortune with some of his pit stop strategies has brought him undone. But don't underwrite Magic Mass at this stage. We've seen the margins, 15 to 20 second gap can be closed down by a Swifty pit stop strategy here, changing from slicks to wets or wets to slicks. Still 40 minutes to go, so plenty of time left in this race for these guys to close these gaps.
Okay, so there's definitely a sync issue there going on as far as the time, because it's just redone itself for 2 hours again, Tim. But at the moment, we're obviously watching Magic Mass just to confirm that that's what we're doing. And the rain seems to be just abating at the moment, slowly.
Yeah, the skies are getting a little bit darker at the moment, but that is because the sun is falling further down behind the trees. It tends to get to a twilight stage for a section of the race before, because it goes behind the trees, but then there's a section before the sun actually goes all the way down behind the mountain.
This is very close here with Magic Mass and No Frills. And No Frills, I think he's got John Slow, is it just in front of him? No, it's the 9-inch Nails car.
The Bloody Nine.
The Bloody Nine.
Let's jump on the roof and take a look, see what the attitude of these cars actually look like.
Please, I'm trying to dodge the rain, Tim. The water spray.
It probably looks a little bit better on the roof than it probably would from the cockpit.
Yeah, definitely, and it gives us a good little understanding of the situation of the skies. And when you're looking up towards the skies, please don't look at that timer, guys. The timer is totally wrong. Tim will keep us updated on the time as we get down in 10-minute increments. I think we're getting close to the 40, just under 40 minutes. Is that correct? Something like that.
I just caught the 40-minute mark just then, Neil. So 39 minutes and 56 seconds to go as Magic Mass runs wide. There are still some clouds lurking around in that sky, and we're going to find it difficult as the sun does fade away into the mountains there. We will be seeing the last 40 minutes of this race in darkness. Right, quick look at the cockpit. Probably from the cockpit on these cars, it actually looks drier than what it really is. A little bit deceiving for these guys now with the sun falling away.
Yeah, it's going to be good finishing off in the dark with some of the lights here down pit straight and everywhere like that, and coming up into the the grandstand up the top here of Radion.
For the guys watching the stream, thank you for staying with us. We've had a few technical issues, but hopefully we'll be back for the last 38 minutes of this race. You're watching Gravel Trap Legends. This is round 6 of the Prototype Masters Endurance Series. And Gravel Trap Legends racing on Automobilista 2. And if you think you want to get involved, then check out the guys. Look for them on the Discord. Running their Pro Series on Monday nights, which we're looking at right now. There's also a Shakedown Series running similar cars at similar tracks on the Wednesday night.
Yeah, I believe they're wrapping that up for the year, Tim, on the Wednesday night. They're going to have a bit of a break and come back into the Shakedown next year as the new series is about to start.
Well, there are a couple of special events coming up, Neil. We'll talk about them very shortly. But the rumour is the new series is going to be the V8 Super Utes.
They sure are, the V8 Super Utes. And oh, look at this great visuals here as it's getting dark. The headlights are shining on the side of the cars in different parts of the corner as we're looking at Magic Mass. But they're actually following the ANZ CRL series, who's doing the V8 Supercars at the moment, and they're going to be visiting the tracks that they are visiting as well in the later half of their season with the V8 Utes, and then they're going to come together for a Night of Champions at the end of the series. So that's going to be very interesting to end the year. So very good little collaboration with GTL and ANZ CRL.
So the drivers for ANZ CRL are driving the V8 Supercars at the moment in their series. Getting very close to the Bathurst 1000 in about 4 weeks' time, Neil.
That's it. Yeah, definitely. It's going to be the week after the real life event on that over the Saturday for the qualifying, and then the Sunday will be the race with driver swaps. Yes, you heard it. Driver swaps on AMS2, but they're done a little bit different. They've split up in 40 lap sessions, 4 sessions in total for the 1,000 kilometre, 161 laps. And it gives the opportunities for the driver pairings to swap the drivers, and they will jump in for a second session in the positions that they finish. So it's going to be interesting, Tim, and definitely going to have a mixture, hopefully, of Gravel Trap Legends and ANZ CRL drivers amongst it all, as a lot of the ANZ CRL guys will be knocking on GTL's drivers' doors and offering a drive to team up with them.
Yes, I've actually been pulled out of the woodwork to jump in the rig for that Bathurst event.
I believe in the D-Bolt car.
Yeah, in the D-Bolt car. Looking forward to it. I did a iRacing event, a 2-hour session in the GT3s last week. And I really need to find a little bit of match fitness before I jump into any more enduro events. But I'm hopefully within a month's time I'll be up to speed.
And get back to the track here. We got Gunner in pit lane, and he is getting onto those slick tyres. Will Rusty come in as well?
Let's see where Rusty is on track. He's just coming through the chicane now, and he follows suit straight into pit lane. Krista Razor straight into pit lane, and John Slow also. All the lead cars now following suit.
Yeah, they're going to all have to follow one another, you would think, Tim, because they don't want to be caught out in these drying conditions now. They just want to follow their competition as they're all getting very close to one another now. But in saying that, Esky Man doing his own thing, as we've seen already, and maybe he's one of those drivers, or is he fighting for the wet part of the circuit there, Tim?
Yeah, Chemical Brothers are in a different sync than everybody else tonight. We've seen it have some interesting effects early in the race. This could pay off. pulls out. He's still 17 seconds in arrears of Gunner at the moment.
He zips past Max Power then, like Max Power was standing. So I think maybe Max maybe went one lap too long on these wet tyres. Bit nervous.
So we've got Rusty Caliper and Christopher Razor now with John Slow off the back of this paint. They've all entered pit lane, exit pit lane, and they are now contesting with some back markers as well.
Yeah, it's really shaping up to be a four-way battle for this final spot on the podium.
Very busy little section of track. The Bloody Nine and Travis Moan now take the pit lane entrance.
Now, I just didn't know, Tim, if one of those things, maybe that's what Max is trying to do, experiment as well. Will maybe stay out the whole time, maybe on the wet tyres, just searching the wet part of the circuit. Now that the sun's gone down, will this part of the track stay wet offline, and will the drivers have a possibility of just staying on those slicks and limit a stop?
Well, that could be an advantage. Max Power up to 18th position now. So he's managed to jump ahead of Lefty and Stu.
Oh,
But we see a car in the wall in the back there. And was it Max?
No, it wasn't Max, but you're on him now. You good one there. You picked up Stu. So the right about now has found himself moving with his DJ controls and into the barrier. It's midnight. Oh, you can hardly see this black car.
There's Stu being able to change shuttles on the radio there and not paying attention.
No, there's another car's running wide. Will he get it back onto the circuit? He should be able to. There's a lot of runoff there.
That was Magic Mass.
And that's given No Frills a good opportunity here to make a move up into the bus stop if he can. He's right behind.
We know Magic Mass is the Dirt Rally champion. He will excel in any conditions where the car is a little bit slick.
Yeah, he does, but I think he's also been caught out a little bit, actually, to be honest, tonight. He was up in the top three, chasing down Gunner, but it's been Esky Man. I'd have to say, huts out to Esky Man tonight, because he's absolutely done a great job out in second position, and he's fighting, as we know, for Magic Mass to be third in the championship. Only 1 point between Esky Man and Magic Mass.
Look at that time difference too. Magic Mass at 2:18, but Esky was a 2:13. Yeah. And Gunner's had a bit of an issue, dropped back with a 2:44, so Gunner's had an off track.
Oh, I think that might have been his lap, like his first lap after coming out of the pits, Tim. So it might have registered as he went through.
He should have already done a lap by now because Esky pitted the lap after.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, yeah, maybe he has had a moment, and Esky's obviously brought that gap down now to just to the 10-second. Oh, another car's gone wide, and that's was that No Frills? I think it was No Frills into the barrier.
No Frills is still moving.
Is that we're looking at the
there's a
bloody
slow
nine?
car. There's a slow moving car.
You're on the bloody 9 at the moment, so maybe you're not too sure. It was a red car, but No Frills was red. But anyway, we're all going still at it at the moment, and look at who's we got here. The left.
I think it was the car in front. Was it the car? Was it Max?
No, it's definitely a red car.
Smithy.
Might have been Smithy.
No, Smithy's way up there. I can't pick this.
That's all right. Well, one of the cars he must have got going again though. So, but he just went straight ahead. Not even sure what circuit, what part of the course. I think it was going into Puon actually.
Yeah.
And if we see a car going into the pits, it might be that car. So.
And there is, looks like someone entering pit lane. Yes, no frills.
No, no frills. It probably might have been no frills there. We just all... He could be coming... Who's following him in at the moment? That's Max Power,
Max
I think.
Power.
So they're coming in now. There's no... Is there any rain on your screen? Because there's nothing on mine at the moment.
No, we are clear. We are clear. But again, look at this. Esky at 209 and Gunner at 212. Esky is on the march.
Yeah, he's loving these conditions, and that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So, who else has he got in? He's got Scar 666, who's in 8th position, was the only other driver that could have tried to get his position away from him for 3rd position. So, at the moment, Esky Man, I think if it ends this way, will be coming home in 3rd position in the championship.
We just look at this. So, we've got Gunner has just gone through the chicane. Margin now down to 7 seconds.
Yeah, and just have a look, 210 from Gunner there. That lap around, and Eskimans at 207.9. So a second and a half, good enough. Better than Gunn. So he's doing a tremendous job as he's just given a flash to No Frills. As No Frills came out of pit lane. Damage repaired, and he's good to go now. If the weather was staying clear, if it could stay clear, No Frills wouldn't have to pit again. He should be able to get to the end of this race.
Yeah, 27 minutes to go. They should be fine to go through to on a full tank of fuel and a fresh set of tyres. For anyone who's pitted in the last 10 minutes or so, that should be comfortable for them to end this race on their current setup, provided it does not rain.
Yeah, I think I could just see some raindrops there on my screen. It could have just been me thinking after we've had so much rain, I could be seeing things, but when that light shines a certain way. And we have seen, Tim, as well, where the rain comes into the top end of the circuit after the Kemmel Straight and into Lecombs, that's where the rain seems to start from.
Can we find Stu about to head up through there? Let's jump in board Stu. Stu's got the windscreen wiper going. That could be wishful thinking for Stu.
Yeah, I don't know. I can see stars in my screen on the sky, so maybe
that is clear skies.
Yeah, so maybe I was just thinking that there was some rain. Eyes doing crazy tricks on me. What a way to finish this endurance series. One of the greatest tracks on AMS2, in my opinion, my humble opinion. I think Spa is just a really good, challenging driver's track.
And it always amazes me how bright Spa is at night time.
Oh, definitely.
Right? You look at some tracks and it's just murky pitch blackness, but Spa, even though it's such a large, long, extended track, there are just these pockets of light, as we can see here as Stu runs wide, that just tend to keep you in track with finding your braking points and being able to line up the apexes. Maybe not what Stu's doing right now, but it is a great track for the endurance series, and again one of the great enduro tracks.
Oh, he's looping it. No, he's held on to it. And who's he got behind? Oh, it's actually just cars are going to put him a lap down actually, so it's not for position.
Let's see, this could be Crystal Razor. Well, that is spots of rain there, Neil. And Crystal Razor coming down into the showers now, hitting the top of the circuit. So while we did say we saw stars, those stars disappeared pretty quickly.
Yeah, so this might be the last storm of the evening. So the bloody 9 in the pit lane. I think you were going to say that at the same time as it popped up on our monitors, and there's plenty now starting to line up.
leftish due, and we can see now very heavy rain. So no Tim Tams for miscalculated for her weather report at Spa, that is for sure.
Yeah, I'd just like to apologise to our viewers because obviously we're not getting that rain on our screens at the moment. We're just a little bit synced out as far as weather's concerned to what's happening. But Gunner's in pit lane. We will see that rain start on our monitors very shortly, I would imagine.
Esky in the pit lane. We'd expect Rusty Caliper and Krista Razor and Magic Mass all to join them.
And here comes the rain on our screens now. It's starting to fall, so it comes in fairly quick.
Well, let's jump on board the Bloody Nine because he was the first one to make a pit stop to change his tyres.
Yeah, so the race isn't over for the Bloody Nine at the moment. So how did John Slow? Is he still out on slicks and yet to come into the pits?
But there is a considerable margin. John Slow. Where's John now?
He's tiptoeing
John is
around.
still out on track.
Yeah.
John's coming down now to the chicane.
Yeah, so
We
he's tippy-toeing.
expect John to make his pit stop here. And then the Bloody Nine, he's still coming now through on.
Yeah, so I think John Slow should be right as long as he doesn't have any major incident. But I was just going to say, because there's a Bloody Nine, he can get quite a few positions on John Slow that he could take this championship before the end of this race, Tim. As there's only
John Slow, he's in the pits now. So we are coming around through Campus and Paul Ferrer.
And I think he's got to win the championship, he's got to be 7 positions, I think, above John Slow. So John Slow in the pit lane. No, it might not happen, but you just don't know if something's going to happen, do you? Like these endurance races, anything can happen. We've seen Magic Mass last week, or we didn't see it, but all reports with that disconnect that he had, and it's left, I think, running very wide, trying to keep his car on the black stuff.
With the misfortunes that John Slow had in the GT4s, I think it's well and truly done and dusted for John. I expect John to have a very strong finish here, and it would be a great finish for John to actually be the points leader at the end of this championship.
Yeah, definitely. He's just in front of the Bloody Nine now, and the car that I did say was maybe was left, it was actually Scar 666 having a bit of difficulty getting in pit lane in front of the Bloody Nine, but here we go, the chase is on. So you've got first in the championship just in front of the Bloody Nine. The Bloody Nine is second in this championship, but 7 points adrift. So as you said, Tim, something unfortunate would have to happen to John Slow if the Bloody Nine has any chance to clinch this championship. But we have seen cruel things in the past in the sim world and also in the real world. So fingers crossed that John can keep it going.
Put it out there, touch wood, Neil, for John Slow, and also for the Bloody Nine. 2 very competitive drivers. We've seen some great battles between both of these drivers, not only in this series, but for the entire year.
Yeah, definitely. They seem to always shine in any sort of series that you see them in any league out there. John Slow and the Bloody Nine, and obviously return of Magic Mass as well into AMS2. He's been really setting things alight. And talking about setting things alight, Magic Mass and Esky Man, that's another one. So the viewers, let's put it out there. Is John Slow going to take this championship? He's going to have to keep within 7th places. It looks like the Bloody Nine's going to go all out right now with, what have we got left, Tim? We've got 20 minutes. 19
and a half minutes left to go.
19 and a half minutes remaining of this race, and you can't see anything here, Tim. It's just like you're staring at a shower head.
He's got the run on through there. Coming into the chicane out of Blocksham.
Oh,
Gets the job done.
Gets the job done, exactly. So John Slow.
John Slow going for the crisscross there, trying to make the cut back, but did not get the job done. He's got a bit of a run here. Going to get him down the inside.
What a fight this is. This is the two championship leaders at it. Hammer and tong here at the moment, and the bloody Nine's just thinking he wants to make a race of this. And there's also another race up in for second position at the moment with Esky Man and Magic Mass. They're trying to fight out for the final spot in the championship in third place. Whoever takes the position there will actually take they'll be actually equal on points at the moment, Esky Man and Magic Mass. Oh, here comes the bloody Nine.
He's dived down the inside.
Oh, and this is it. This is where John Slow needs to now put his head down and keep a margin now on the bloody Nine, because he just doesn't want to get involved in any sort of incident, Tim, because that could actually see the end of John Slow if he does get some or any sort of damage from an accident. And the bloody Nine's thinking he's got nothing to lose, but I think he's going to cool it down a little bit now.
Is this going to be a Verstappen versus Hamilton finish?
Yeah, I don't think...
See them parked on top of each other?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be as bad as that, we wouldn't think, but the bloody Nine's definitely got some pace at the moment in that Foo Fighters car. So it's Foo Fighters versus Metallica.
And we'll see their lap times levelled out after this race as they sync with John Slow just getting a complete lap in after his pit stop. But how exciting is this racing, Neil? We have had the Masters Series of Endurance. They have been 1.5 hour races. This is a 2-hour race around Spa. We've got 16 minutes to go, and this is the two leading point scorers for this series within 1 second of each other.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And I think all the viewers can really appreciate these drivers still fighting for, just for, the glory, I guess, to finish in front of the driver. The bloody Nine knows that he needs to at least clear another 7 places in front of John Slow. But I tell you what, he'd love to finish at least this race in front of John Slow, knowing he's given it all. And what great racing we've seen right through the series. Let's not forget as well, Gunner. He missed round 2, I think it was, maybe another round, and he was definitely in the running for the championship, as was Magic Mass when he had his disconnect. So he sort of lost a round as well, Magic. And so that's really opened up for John Slow and the bloody Nine to fight it out.
A big shout out to Gunneski and Magic. Not only are they the 3 leading cars on track, but they have had the winning strategies for this evening. They have been up and down the top 10 on the leaderboard, but they have had the winning strategies to be at the front of this race.
And let's not forget about the prototypes as well. These are the hypercars we've been talking, Tim, but we've got that obviously battle. We've got Scar 666 leading the championship over Brett S. So at the moment, Brett S is leading Scar 666 by 12 seconds, and Scar's very, very nervous at the moment in that car. And
it's 15 seconds, Neil, nearly 15-second margin now.
15-second margin. But at the end of the day, Christopher Razor has got a 10-point buffer on Brett S. So it's a bit like the lead of the Hypercar Championship, where Scar would have to be right down the order for Brett S to actually try and trouble Scar for the prototype series. But Scar's done everything right that he can do. through the series. And big thanks to Scar as well, putting together these livery packs as well. He hasn't done all the liveries, but he's actually compiled all the liveries for Gravel Trap Legends as they've entered them in and created the livery pack for everyone to download. And he's also done, I believe, helmets and also race suits as well, Tim. So something that you don't really see, but definitely the helmets and the race suits are all custom done as well. So he's really good
Neil,
at doing that.
this race has not unfolded yet. It looks like the rain has stopped. We've got 13 minutes to go, and this track is drying out very, very quickly.
And Eski's doing what he does his best. He's the first one to come in. It's been working for him, so he's going to stick with it. And
pitted in front of Gunn. Let's see what Magic Mass is going to do. He's going to stay out for another lap.
yeah, I think it's all about just trying to vary it up if they can, because that's the only way they're going to try and sort of make a difference, make a move. There's sort of going to be a advantage in pit lane type scenario.
Well, what would you do in this situation, Neil? You're sitting on the back of John Slow. You could take an advantage here. Would you risk it for the biscuit?
I would definitely go in the pits this time if I was the bloody 9. And if John Slow goes in, I think you just, I don't know, like...
You have to follow.
Yeah, you have to follow. There's nothing you could really do there. There's still that spray, but we have seen how it's panned out generally. The car's lap time, if you're on the slicks, you're probably going to be a little bit slower in that first half of the lap, but it's probably going to equal out because the second part of your lap, the drivers seem to bridge back that time again. And then the next lap, the tyres are usually up to temperature then, and they really put in a good lap. He's having a good look here. He could almost pit check him and get in down the inside in. Stop John Slow. Oh, but he hasn't gone in. So that was an opportunity of the bloody 9 of maybe taking advantage and doing something different to John Slow, but he's decided to follow.
We've got Magic Mass punched out a 2:19. The fastest driver on wet tyres at the moment.
Yeah, so the pace is still there. Just have to wait to see.
Let's jump aboard now, Eski, and let's see how the attitude of his car's going on slicks.
Yeah, see,
Ooh, a little bit nervous.
yeah, so maybe he's jumped in just that little bit early, and maybe getting caught out as well, being darker and could be cooler temperatures. The track's not drying out as quick as what it was during the day, Tim, and so his little plan that he was doing during the daytime is not helping him here at night.
May not be too much damage done here. Like you said, his tyres are going to be gaining temperature this entire lap as he comes down in towards the chicane now.
Yeah, and seeing him take
back onto the start-finish line.
Seen him take Blanchimont back then too, and he was, you know, he did run wide where you saw cars when their slicks weren't quite the optimum tyre, really struggling through Blanchimont. So,
well, let's see how he goes here at Christopher Razor when he comes up through on Rouge and through Radion. Is he going to get an advantage on those slick tyres?
yeah, he could do, but I think once he gets down through Lacombe is where the slick tyres are really at. Rivage is where the slick tyres are going to really show as well. Because look at Christopher fighting for the cooler part of the circuit, picking up the water.
I potentially see some rain falling back through on Rouge?
You may have, I'm not too sure, as we're synced out from you just that little bit, but obviously the rain is not on our screen at the moment, but the track is still wet, but drying up. So we haven't got too much longer in this race, guys. So if you want to put in your last lot of votes of some of these drivers, please do so for the liveries. It's a bit hard to see now in the dark. How about your driver of the day? How about that? vary it up a little bit. Let's have a look to see. Do you think Gunner is worthy of the driver of the day, or this man here, Esky Man, who's done everything right?
Gunner's now in the pits. Esky too far back to catch him at this stage. It looks like he'll still come back. Well, the margin was around about 10 seconds, I think, before the pit stop.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest, I think Esky Man struggled just that little bit on the initial out lap. I think the track was still that little bit too wet for him.
He hasn't been able to catch the back of Krista Razor here. We would have thought that he would have easily got past him, but hasn't been the case. Does the big dive now down through the chicane. Gets the job done, but Christopher heading towards the pits.
Yeah, that was actually a nice move, actually, from Esky Man. He knew that he didn't want to be down the inside and block Christopher going into pit lane. So that was nice awareness from Esky Man. Nice driving. Drivers with less experiences may have tried to dive down the inside and could have ended in a little bit of an incident, as we knew Christopher Razor would have been wanting to come in the pits for those slicks. So being a little bit aware does help a lot in sim racing. It doesn't it, Tim? It sort of separates those drivers that seem to always avoid incident to the guys that sort of trip up every now and then. Usually those drivers are a little bit more aware and just know where to take care when needed.
And it's those 1%ers that separate the drivers like Gunner, Magic, Esky, Christopher Travis, John Slow, Brett, Travel 9, No Frills, Rusty Cowboy, how they can consistently be in the top 10 by not making rash decisions, by being aware of the cars around them, and aware of the racing space of the cars around them. A credit to those guys for being ultra consistent.
Yeah, most definitely.
But this is the hardest part of the race, Neil.
Oh, what's going on here? It's very wide.
I think they're still very damp through there, but the concentration levels are waning now. We've been racing for just shy of 2 hours. Changing track conditions, changing from morning to afternoon into now night. It's a lot for these drivers. A full 2 hour stint. I think we've had 5 or 6 pit stops for change of tyres.
Yeah, they've definitely been. They definitely know where that pit limiter is. That's for sure. The pit limiter line. They've visited many a times tonight.
I think the pit crew were feeling like they've done a full 24-hour race here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. So Gunner staying out that one extra lap has obviously extended his lead now by another 15 seconds to have that margin of around about 25 seconds. So Gunner looks like he's got this race sealed at the moment, but obviously we've still got just under 10 minutes, Tim.
No, 5 minutes to go, just 6 minutes to go. And Magic Mass now in the pits. So he's going to drop a spot to Christopher Razor.
Yeah, he should come out in front of John Slow.
Yeah, we'll just see where John Slow is on track. Oh!
And he's
John Slow on the bloody 9 made contact.
Yeah, and that's we'll see what happens here with 5 minutes remaining. Is John Slow going to start dropping positions here?
Yep, that is going to require some serious work to repair that car.
And the bloody 9 will not come in for the pits. He will stay out, and I think John Slow is going to have to either...
And
is that
5 minute mark, there is no safety car.
No more safety car, so... John Slow will not be happy about this because this could be the end of his championship. Let's have a look. Where is the bloody 9 now? He is in 5th position and John Slow is in 8th. Now, if my maths is correct, John Slow needs to finish in 11th position, I think it is.
John Slow is dusted. John Slow is going to fall back into 11th position. He should be fine even with a pit stop.
I think
2.5 minute margin back to Mark 860 in 12th.
Yeah, so maybe you'd like to see winning. Actually, we saw the tail end of that incident, and I gave credit to the guys when they did the GTL versus the CAS guys, which are the North American Canadian sim group. They have a little group agreement basically for amongst CAS guys that if they do damage a car and they have to come into the pit lane, that the car that was also involved comes into pit lane and waits for the repairs to happen, and then they resume racing again. So that's a something that's very respectable type of driving, and that's something that you know, if the bloody nine poked his nose in somewhere and caused that problem, it's something that maybe look at in future leagues as
not
well.
looking too much damage on the bloody nine. I'm wondering who made contact with who.
Yeah, and I think yeah, we can't really jump to conclusions here because we did see the bloody nine seem to be a little bit behind John Slow, in fairness, and John Slow was already out of you know, out of control. He was already sort of sliding a little bit, so maybe he got caught up and you know, overcooked it a bit. But where's John Slow at the moment? 10th. He's got to make sure that he doesn't drop any further. I think he's got to come home in 11th, and it'll still be his championship. And anything below 11th, I think they'll be tied for the championship lead. So he's got Scar just in front of him as Stu gets out of the way.
Max Power. Yep.
I think that's Stu just having a little bit of fun and getting out of the way. But John Slow, if he just finishes where he is, as long as the bloody nine doesn't gain any more positions, which I don't think he will with the gap between him and Christopher. So when are we? We've got probably one more lap after this.
Yeah, 2 minutes to go. Let's see where Gunn is on track coming around. And 2 minutes 13. This will be the final lap. The time will click down before Gunn makes it around to the start-finish line again.
Yeah, I think John, even if Gunner could have done another lap, I think he's got a nice healthy margin of 17, 18 seconds on Esky. He'd probably just slow that pace down a little bit to make sure there's no more laps and just make sure that he doesn't risk any sort of failure or anything sort of happening in his end.
Just taking a quick look through some of the lap times here. Obviously, Esky, the fastest car on track at the moment, at a 2:07. But Christopher Razor with a 2:10, Rusty Caliper a 2:10, Travis Mike with a 2:09. We've got Gunner and Scar in 2:11. Mark 860 with a 2:13. Rangy with a 2:12. So still some ultra fast times being made out there in the dark on a reasonably slick track.
Yeah, sure is, and it looks like at this stage too, for the third position of this championship, Tim, it's going to be tied on points between Esky Man and Magic Mass, so it'll go to a count back on positions through the series to who will end up coming home in that third position. But I know with the Gravel Trap Legends, they normally have a dual podium if they're tied on points, but it looks that way, Tim, that we're going to have a dual third position in the championship between Esky Man and Magic Mass.
And again, it's a credit to all of these drivers, and it shows you how tight and competitive it is at the top of this order for the Monday Night Gravel Trap Legends series.
Yeah, some of the fastest Australian, New Zealand sim racers on a Monday night. Make sure you get involved if you're interested. Obviously they've got this the V8 Utes coming up for their final series of 2023, and then we'll be into 2024, and there's a lot of excitement to come our way. And there we go, Gunner comes home in first
50
position.
laps around Spa,
and definitely earned his keep there for that victory, so well done to Gunner. And he'll jump up the order a little bit, because Brett S, he'll get up into the 6, maybe into actually the top 5. He'll come home in 5th in the championship. As Esky Man, what a great run he had, Tim. I think he's been the driver of the day. It's hard to take it away from Gunner as well, but I think Esky really put himself in contention for this race with his pit strategies throughout this race.
And there's Gunner doing his circle work.
Yeah, nice job. And then we should be able to pick up John Slow very shortly, I guess, as well, because he will be the championship winner.
Mr. Razor taking the shortcut.
Yeah, John Slow's just behind him, I think. So John Slow is about to go over the line now to take this series of the Masters Endurance Championship. So well done to Mr. John Slow. Tremendous effort by him. And I tell you what, he's just come home in the skin of his teeth, Tim. As we said, anything can happen. And it's all happening here at the end of the race with wings coming off and everything. And the rain's starting to fall at the end of the race, is that correct? As Strawberry Kisses
back into the wet again.
Is having a mushy strawberry drink in the rain here, and just going to get it to the end of this race with no traction whatsoever over the line in 13th position. Nice job by Squish Mittens actually to come home there.
So we've got Rangy coming through. He's about to head into the chicane.
Yeah, for Nickelback, and oh geez, they just can't pull it up with that rain that's come in for the last lap. I remember watching a Spa 24 hour about 5 or 6 years ago when the rain came near the end of the race and caused absolutely havoc in the races. They were all on slicks, and some drivers are just struggling just to get to the end here, Tim. Cuckoo's one of them.
But it is a very impressive audio track we've got for the thumping V8 kicking through there. And there we go. That is the end of our race. 2 hours of Spa for Gravel Trap Legends. Monday night proceeds. This has been the Masters of Endurance.
And have a look at that. 10 pit stops for some drivers, but the majority were the nine pit stops. And the fastest lap of the race looks like it was a 2:04.6 by Magic Mass. From what I can see there, that's a pretty impressive time for Magic Mass, who came home in 4th position, Tim. So awesome job. And he had that one extra pit stop as well. So what could have been for Magic Mass? An extra pit stop wouldn't have given him a win, but it could have given him that 3rd position over Christopher Razor in the end.
Yeah, that's been fantastic. 2 hours around Spa, 50 laps. And the changing conditions, like I said, 9 to 10 pit stops. The level of concentration these guys have put for this race, absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, a couple of 10-second time penalties as well, maybe for pit speed limits as they came in, or I would say that's what it would have been. The 10 seconds is usually a normal one. Mark 860, a 50-second time penalty at the end as
Bales.
Well. And also Bales. So, and Max Power got a 50-second time penalty as well. So they were lucky they didn't get a drive-through from all of that.
Giz and Trury, sadly, retirements for this. But great drive by all. This is one of those events where it is just a challenge to finish.
It sure is. And I'm just putting up the final screen there, and it's a big thanks for everyone to watching. And you can see there the calendar that we have had. We started off at Monza, and that was the race where we had Gunner leading most of that race, and Magic Mask making the move on the last lap to take victory to open his campaign. And then we had that 1.5 hours at Barcelona. Silverstone was a great race. Spielberg, when Tim came and joined us, and we had a fantastic race around Spielberg. And unfortunately, we didn't get to Nürburgring with a broadcast, but we got there for the 2 hours of Spa-Francorchamps, and I'm glad that we had Tim on board. And how about we try and find if we can pick up John Slow, as he has taken out a GTL championship here with the Masters of Endurance. So let's try and drag him in. He's probably half talking, and we're just going to cut him away and bring him straight in.
No, he has blocked. He won't let me drag him down.
Yeah, no worries. Well, he might not want to be involved in there because he also is he does stream as well with a happy average racer, so he might not be there. But let's see if we can bring in Scar. Maybe we can't do it because I can't even bring Scar in either, so maybe we don't have the ability to do that. So Tim, big thank you for joining myself, Neil Haynes, for the final part of the series, and wish you all the best in your return to sim racing and your
Thank you
adventures
very
there in
much.
iRacing, mate. It's going to be very exciting.
Absolutely, mate. Big transition for me to fit in with my lifestyle and a choice to move over to iRacing, but absolutely loving the experience. But looking forward to come back and doing something the cameo events and some of the major special events on AMS2.
Sensational. Good to hear. And that might be our final stream that we will do too for a while, Tim, because I've recovered to a point where it looks like I'll be back in the sim rig with Gravel Trap Legends for their Monday nights with the V8 Utes because I just can't let those V8 Utes go by because I think they're a lot of fun, the Montanas in the game. So should be a good series that on Monday night. So make sure you look at Gravel Trap Legends. We have got the charity event coming up at the Bathurst race over the long weekend of New South Wales. I think it's the 2nd of October. I'm pretty sure all the grid is full for that event. It's getting pretty close to it, but if you want to, it's I believe it's the Group A cars around Bathurst and for 90 minutes, so that should be a lot of fun. For charity of your choice, you donate to your charity for entry, and you put that charity on the car, slap it on a couple of stickers, and get amongst the action in the BMW and Mercedes around Bathurst.
And a great event. We were all a part of that last year. Do recommend anyone get involved with Gravel Trap Legends for their charity events. Fantastic concept and a great way to enjoy uh, a good laugh with the boys and raise some money for some charities.
Definitely. All right, guys. Well, thanks for your votes for the livery competition as well. It looks like Stu M. Well, Stu M is actually a clear leader. I don't think anyone voted it for anything other than Stu's livery here on the chat. But obviously, the Gravel Trap Legends members have a say as well. So, but for the stream, congratulations to Stu, clear leader with the right about now. The funk's all over. Livery of Fatboy Slim. So until next time, we've been your host and enjoy the rest of the week. Cheerio.
Thanks, guys.